Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alison Evans from Pinpoint Local, and together with Peter from Maverick Mentoring for Business, and on behalf of Manningham Business, we're providing this Google My Business webinar today, followed by the one-to-one strategy sessions later on in the week. So this Google My Business webinar today is an overall view of Google My Business. And we can look at your specific listings when we do the one-on-one strategies, which will be your business listing. To a certain extent, I'm making the assumption that you do have a Google My Business listing. If someone hasn't, we can go through that on Thursday, but I'm assuming that you have got a listing and it is claimed and it is verified. So I've broken up this presentation today to talk about exactly what is a Google My Business listing, why to use it, and then strategies and tactics of how to use it to optimize it to the best you possibly can for a local business. Now, a Google My Business listing has several subtle parts to it, which may not be obvious, but Google connects all the data that you put in your listing in these three different ways. So if you're got a device and you've got Google up, or you're in the back end of your listing, if you type in a business name, your business name, on the right hand side you'll get what Google calls the knowledge graph, and on the left hand side should be your business website. If it isn't your business website and it's a directory or your Facebook or your LinkedIn page, we can talk about that on Thursday. Because if you have it SEO correctly, your website should come up first, your home page for your business name. Now, on the right-hand side on the screen, you can see here the knowledge graph, which is what comes up when you type in your business name in Google search. Now, even if you haven't claimed and verified your Google My Business listing, you often find that there is a knowledge graph, a minimal one anyway, because Google will create it by either scraping your Facebook page or business directories or yellow pages and things like that, and we'll create a listing for your business and we'll say, do you want to claim this? Do you want to verify it? So the knowledge graph, this is the front end of the knowledge graph. The back end is when you put in all the information about your business so that your Google My Business listing is optimized to the maximum. Now, sorry, if I just go back, on the right-hand side of your knowledge graph, you'll see that there's actually a map there. And if you're a storefront, you'll have a pinpoint of the actual physical location of your business. Or if you provide a service area, i.e. this is a Manningham Business Network and the service area is Manningham, can be Victoria, Melbourne, Australia, or certain states or geographic locations, you find a map there. If you click on that map, you get what is called the Google Map page. And once again, this is taken from your Google My Business listing, the information you put at the back. And that has an abbreviated form of your listing with your name and contact details and your website, plus that map. And if you click on that map, there'll be directions on how to get there, which you can share in email and SMS. The third part of a Google My Business listing, or what a listing is used for, is what's called the 3-map pack. Now, when you type into Google a type of business plus a location, you tend to get this 3-pack. Now, it's up to Google what it shows on page 1, but if you put in accountant in Bulleen, car mechanic in Doncaster, dentist near me, emergency plumber in Box Hill, you generally get what's the map up the top followed by 3 businesses, and in the map are the pins of those 3 businesses. Now, if you're one of these 3 in this map pack, you'll get about 67% of the clicks on page 1 of Google. It is actually gold to be one of these 3. And that's one of the aims of getting your business to be one of these 3. When your service or your product and a location is typed into Google, and people are looking for your type of business, you want to be one of these three. And how does Google select these three? It depends upon your website and your Google My Business listing, a combination of both, and Google will select the business it thinks should be one of these three. And we want to try and get all your businesses to show up in the 3-pack for local searches for your type of business. So obviously your Google My Business listing has an enormous impact upon your ranking on page 1 of Google for local searches. That means, what I mean by local search, when people are searching for like mortgage brokers in Melbourne, mortgage brokers in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, and as I said, car mechanic in Bulleen, they're searching for a business and a location, and that's what's called a local ranking. And your Google My Business is a gold nugget to affecting your ranking of your business. Even as far as there have been some SEO experts calling the Google My Business listing as your new business website, because people are searching on their mobile phone so much, they may not necessarily want to go to a website where there's lots of images and lots of tabs and pages, whereas your Google My Business listing can give a really complete snapshot of your business, which is easy to navigate on your mobile phone. And this is all about new customers and new clients, because as you know, your businesses are relying on referral and word of mouth. That only goes so far, and that is a great way of getting business. But this is about getting new clients and new business, people who are searching on Google. So you give Google what Google wants, and Google has given businesses a Google My Business listing, particularly so your local business is found. So provide Google what Google wants, which is information and data about your business. And Google wants to know everything about your business, so give it to Google. It's giving you the listing for free. You just need to know how to optimize it as much as possible and become one of those 3 in the map pack when someone's searching for your type of business. So how do you make your Google My Business listing show up, and how do you make it show up in front of your competitors when people are searching? So we'll go through this now on how to maximize or optimize your listing as much as possible. And as I said, I'm making the assumption that everyone, that top line, claim and verified your listing, that everyone has claimed and verified it. And then once that has been done, you have to complete the information section completely and fully and accurately. And that's what we'll go through a lot of this presentation. Photos and videos, posts, and information and data about your business is all about products, services, and categories. Google wants to know everything about your business, so provide the information to Google. And also it's about reviews, and a very useful strategy is for everyone to download the Google My Business app, and you can have that by Thursday, and then I can go into that app and show you a few strategies as well. So if you're on another device and you've got a Google My Business listing and you know how to log into the back end, it'd be worthwhile to do that now, and then you can follow through some of the strategies I'm going to talk about today. Now, I just want to show you the difference between a Google My Business listing, which is optimized and completed, and one that isn't. If you look on the left-hand side of the image here, this slide, you'll see this listing where they've got photos up the top, there's a map, there's a business name, there's a business logo, there's obviously the business category, address, phone number, hours of business. And then if you go down further, there's posts with a post here, and then if you click view all on the right-hand side, you go down to a long list of posts that are all about the business and their products and their services. And then if you go down below that, there's actually products, which has got like an image tablet about your products, which shows up so well on page 1 of Google because it has images. You can put in prices, that's optional, and you can put on the names of your products. And if you click the arrow, you can go into a whole catalogue of all your products or all your services, which is more applicable to your business. And then there's categories then, so you can widen your products to, besides the actual items themselves, you can create categories. This is a manufacturer for children's furniture, so besides actually itemising the products, i.e. the actual beds, the actual items that are made, there's categories as in kids' bedrooms, furniture, bunk beds, and general categories as well. And then if you go down below that listing, then there's reviews, and then there's actually even icons to their social platforms as well. So you can see if you have this fully optimised, your Google My Business listing will take up all of the right-hand side of page 1 of Google, which is an enormous amount of real estate and one of the most powerful search engines around. If you have a look on the other side, there's another business, a local business, Tax Professionals, which I just found when I was Googling tax accountants and Blackburn. And this listing came up, and you can see the difference instantly between one which is fully complete and one that isn't. First of all, just take a note of the photo that's Google is showing for this listing. It's a photo of cyclists, which means that this business owner has not provided Google with a relevant photo about their business. So Google wants to pull in a photo or pull in a photo from anywhere, and goodness knows why this photo is considered relevant to this business. There's no other photos there, so there's all that white space. There's a business name and address and hours, and this could quite easily have been just pulled from the yellow pages or something like this. And then there's nothing else. There's no photos, no reviews, no products, no services, no categories, no social icons. There's absolutely nothing. And compared with the other one, it's about a third of the size of the Google My Business listing. So Google is giving a GMB, which is Google My Business listing, for free. Why not make it the one on the left-hand side? Why leave your listing looking like the one on the right-hand side? Make it so people want to click it and know about your business. So if you're in the back end of your listing, this is what it looks like, if people are familiar with it or not. And if you want to log in, we can go along with it at the same time. Otherwise, on the one-to-one strategy, we'll go through this. Now, first of all, on the left-hand side are the options you can choose to optimise your listing. So on this slide, it's on the home option, which is right up the top. And this is basically a dashboard. And the few things I want to point out to you, there's often at the top a view plan. Google provides that intermittently about options Google wants you to fill out more. If you click that, Google will say, have you got something? Do you want to update your hours, or you need to do something like that? Google tells you to do something, do it. Google wants information and data about your business so it can show your business to searchers on Google. So if Google is asking you for information in your business, give it. So, and then on the left-hand side, there's a few other prompts by Google, which says update online appointments, and it actually says new because this is a new option. Google My Business is very dynamic, and a lot of the options are changed around a lot. There's new ones created. So it's worth going into and looking at this dashboard intimately just to check what's new. So obviously, update online appointments. For this listing, this is a new option that wasn't available previously. So that means that searchers can actually book an appointment straight from their mobile phone to your Google My Business listing. And for some services, that could be a brilliant way to get new leads. Update your business hours, perhaps because of COVID-19, businesses are shut or open or temporarily or got different hours. Post your COVID-19 update. If you're, so many businesses have changed in so many ways, tell people who are searching what's the latest about your business, openings or closing or whatever. Google takes note of when you go into these functions and change them and update them. And now Google on the front end of your listing, Google will actually put updated 1 hour ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 day. So it's showing your searchers that this business listing is current and kept up to date by the business owners. So that's the home, that's the dashboard. If you go down on the left-hand side, go down 3 places to Info tab, where I've got the red arrow. That's where we're going to concentrate most of today on, because that's where you fill out the details and the data about your business, and you have to complete this fully. So you tell Google all about your business. Now, I just want to introduce a concept called N.A.P plus W. This is a concept that Google themselves have called, and it's name, address, and phone number plus website. Google wants to know your business name, your business address, your business phone number, and it wants those details to be as accurate as possible right across the internet. As you can appreciate, Google's got millions and trillions of businesses globally. It wants its searchers to know about, and the quickest and easiest way is if your business details are the same across the internet, and then Google knows A, that your business exists, that it's verified and a legitimate business, and that it's kept up to date, which means that that will all help your ranking, and Google will show your business more likely. One of the things Google does not want to show if someone is searching for a motor mechanic in Bulleen is a business that is closed, a business that is not sure that it's even existing, or whether it's even a scam businesses, which some agencies create Google My Business listings and try to sell them, and they're not legitimate businesses. So to show Google that you're a legitimate business, you have your name, address, phone number, exactly the same across the internet. And here's an example of a bad N.A.P, a bad name, address, phone number. Dr. Craig Campbell, 2/195 Doncaster Road, Doncaster East Vic. He's got that listed on his website. However, on his Google My Business listing, doctor is abbreviated to DR, which Google would be able to understand that, okay? Craig Campbell, but now it's Suite 2-195. Instead of Doncaster East, that's been dropped out for some reason, and it's only Doncaster. A lot of medical facilities have numerous doctors within them, and so Google doesn't know whether this Suite 2- is the same as 2/ because it's Doncaster East versus Doncaster. So you're confusing the algorithm. It's all about data and detail. And then there's the third way that Dr. Campbell has put it, and this is the Australian Medical Association. This is an imaginary doctor. Now he's Dr. C. Campbell, and it's Unit 2/ Doncaster Road. And instead of Doncaster East, it's East Doncaster. And that's on his AMA directory. And once again, Google cannot verify this business exactly because there's too many variations in the N.A.P. So make sure when you put your business N.A.P down, it's exactly the same across all your digital entities. And if you've been in business for quite a long time, you may have varieties of this, or you may have changed locations or phone numbers or things like that. And we can address that on Thursday, because there's a way how you can do an audit, and a way you can do a cleanup. But I would suggest to try and make your Google My Business listing as the gold standard of your N.A.P, and then extend it across to your website and your LinkedIn or your Facebook or whatever other digital platform you have. Now, as an example today, we're using Peter's Google My Business listing, Maverick Mentoring for Business. And I'd just like to point out that this was several months ago. It's not current now, but there's a few details originally at the beginning of this year that is worth discussing, that other businesses may be making the same mistake. So in the information tab, the first thing up the top, as I was talking about, N.A.P, name, address, and phone number. So the first thing you put in is your business name. And that seems straightforward, but as I said before, it has to be exactly accurate. And Google wants your business name to be the title that is in the real world, i.e., here we got Maverick Mentoring for Business, which is the business name, and then there's - business coach in Melbourne. That is against the terms of service for Google. And you could have your listing suspended over something like this, because you're putting in keywords, because that is not your full. The business name is Maverick Mentoring for Business. Those other words are not. So if you're a plumber, you don't put emergency plumber. If you're Samson's plumber or something like that, you put your business name in, and make sure it's exactly the same name you have on your website, on your Facebook page, on your LinkedIn page, right across all your digital assets. Then if you go down below from your business name, then what's called the primary category. Now make sure you choose this very carefully, because it's really important, because the category that you put in here is what Google will associate with your business name. And some businesses have several categories you can choose from. So choose the most relevant and the one that you want your business to show up for. So an example would be an accountant. In the accountant category, there's tax accountant, and also you may have financial planning, or you may have insurance, or you might have business accounting. So choose, and also like divorce, there's family, there's divorce lawyers, then there's actually family lawyers as well. So there's a distinction there. So when you choose your primary category, be really careful and type in, it is pre-populated by Google, the categories, and sometimes they don't necessarily align with your niche if you're unusual. But just be mindful once again that it is the keywords that you want. So in Peter's case here, Maverick Mentoring for Business, he chose originally his primary category as business to business service. And if you think about that category, it's quite generic. You're not actually telling Google exactly what Maverick Mentoring for Business is about. A business to business service could be all sorts of things. His primary category should be business consultant, business coaching, business mentoring. So you're associating the term Maverick Mentoring with a category which is relevant to your business. So that's too generic. However, then you've got additional categories. I don't know if every business is aware of this. You can actually add up to 10 additional categories if they're relevant to your business, i.e. don't put in categories if they're not about your business. But there are quite a few categories where you choose your primary, but there are several other categories you can put in, and you've got trade services if you're plumbing, then there's emergency plumbing, then there's hot water plumbing, then there's residential and commercial and things like that. So go in, some niches, you may only want the primary category, that there aren't any secondary categories that are relevant. But if there are, go in and put in your additional categories. So once you've chosen your, you've put in your business name, you've chosen your primary category and you've added your additional categories, then you go into your business location. If you've got a storefront or shop front, obviously put in your address here. And as I said, with N.A.P, make sure it's completely accurate. Have exactly the same on the footer of your website or your Facebook page or your LinkedIn, whether it's factory or unit or suite, whether it's to or dash or hyphen, all those sort of variabilities, make sure they're consistent. If you don't have a shop front and your service area, you leave this blank. And then you fill in this area here, your service areas, which you can bring down to postcodes if you want, or you can bring down to a capital city, a state, or the whole country. And here we got Peter. Maverick Mentoring consults to businesses all throughout Australia. So Peter has got every state in Australia here. So when you look at his listing at the front end, you'll see that all of Australia is shown. So anyone who's looking for business consulting, whether they're in Sydney or Brisbane or Perth, they can see that Maverick Mentoring will coach them as well. So put in the area that you want to service, and that will show up on your map. Okay, now business hours. You may think that this is a pretty fine detail. Google considers business hours as very serious because it wants to show when someone is open and someone is closed. This has to be up to date, particularly with COVID-19. So if you're closed on Saturday and closed on Sunday, make sure you have your close and have it on your website and every other digital platform that you have. If you're open at 9 o'clock, don't have open 8:30 on your website. Google finds any inconsistency in data about your business as not accurate, and it won't consider your listing accurate, and then it will be reluctant to show your listing if your competitors have got a better listing than you. Some SEO experts even go as far as putting the business hours exactly how Google My Business listing is here, like Monday 09:17:30, exactly that on their websites and other digital platforms. And Then if you go down to the more hours, this is a fairly new option, particularly during COVID-19. It gives the option for businesses, if they've got temporary hours or just open on a Thursday or a Saturday. It won't affect your business hours up above, but give you an extra options. Not necessarily relevant if you're a service type of business, but if you're a shop front or something like that, and you're doing something bit out of the ordinary, you can put it in here and it won't affect your business hours. And something like if you're a hotel and you've got happy hour between 6 and 8 p.m, you can put happy hour in here, or you've got seniors hours where you are open for half price, you can put it in here. And then in the next section where there's a little calendar icon is when you're closed for holidays. And you'll often get an email from Google saying if there's a public holiday coming up in your region, and obviously Google knows everything, it will send you an email and say, are you open? If Google sends an email about your listing, respond to it and update your hours. So if there's a public holiday coming up like the grand final public holiday or Christmas and New Year's Day, if you're closed, go in and update your calendar hours. Because once again, being proactive and update about your listing helps your listing rank. And as I said, you actually get a little flag on the front end showing people that your listing has been updated recently so that it's an accurate listing. Okay, so that's quite a lot about just business hours. And you can see how serious Google takes accuracy in your business hours if you're a business. Because Google doesn't want to show businesses and you're closed and it's got on your listing, it's open. As far as Google is concerned, that's showing incorrect data, which is one of the things that is flagged, and you could get bad reviews because of that. Okay, after you've got your business hours, you're given the option to give you a short name to Google My Business. If you, so you can put in your business name here. If you don't put this in, the Google My Business link is a very ugly and very long link. Whereas you put this in here means you can link on your website and your Facebook page and your LinkedIn, wherever else you've got a digital platform, back to your Google My Business listing, which I suggest as an SEO tactic. It's really important for Google to crawl everything about your business. Because as I said, it's about providing data to Google about you. So, and Google follows links from one thing to another. You can think of it like electricity or something like that, but the algorithm is a bot, and you provide links that link from your Google My Business to your website, to your Facebook, to your LinkedIn, to your YouTube channel, or anything else you can think of, your Instagram. Link it all together, and Google will follow it all and will strengthen you as a business on the digital platform. So this gives you a really short, easy way to provide that link to your Google My Business listing. So as far as adding more links, obviously at the top of adding the links is you've got the worldwide web icon, the globe. Put in your URL for your website, your homepage here. The appointment links, you can see originally in Peter's listing here, he didn't have a link here. This is where I'm saying Google's providing a place to put a link. Don't leave anything incomplete. Fill everything out. So what link would you put in appointments? Your contact page. If you've got an appointment booking page, there's dentists and doctors and medicos that actually have got platforms that are specific for medical and health, where you can put in and schedule meetings and appointments. Link it to that. If you've got a Calendly account, or if you haven't got anything, as I said, put a link to your contact page. It's just telling Google another bit of data about your business. And then you go down to services. And you can see here that the first one there is, as I said, was what Peter chose as his primary category, which is business to business service. And there's his additional categories. And as you can see that there's more relevant key-rich secondary categories below, either business coaching or business mentor, which should be his private one. So add more services here as well. And then if you go down further, there's highlights and service options. The attributes for these change and is quite dynamic and is different according to your primary category. And Google is updating these options all the time. So that's why it's worth going to your Google My Business listing often, because you should be posting photos and posts often, weekly, and always go down and look at these highlights and these service options. These highlights differ, like if you're a restaurant, it may have you may have the option of highlighting that you're vegan or vegetarian, or you're seafood, or you're Italian, or you have wheelchair access, or you have good parking, or you have takeaway, or extra hours and things like that. What Google gives this to you, sometimes they're relevant to your business, sometimes they're not. So it's something that you should be proactively going into and just seeing what the attributes are that Google has given you for your listing, and if they're relevant, activate them, and it shows on your front end. And then right down the bottom of this information tab is the business description. Now you've got 750 words to fill this out. That first sentence is the only sentence which is shown on the front end of your listing. So that sentence is the sentence you want to make really interesting for someone who is Googling, looking for your business or looking for a service in their area, and you want to make it so you grab their attention. So this is for people who don't know you, these are new businesses. So you want to put your business name and quickly say what you provide to them in one sentence, because they'll see this on your listing. Now, the rest of the words, about another 500 out of the 750, only Google sees. So those words, you want to provide information and data about your business, but make it into a sentence so it sounds natural. So you don't want to scam Google, but you want to provide as much information as possible. And it doesn't have to sound as much so enticing as that first sentence, which is for people. The next 500 words is for an algorithm. So analysing Peter's business description here, if you look at his second paragraph, business consulting, you want to say your business name because you want to tell Google about your business name. And then you want to tell Google about either the service, the product, or the location, and the location, not all, and the location where you service these. So it should be something like Maverick Mentoring for Business is a business consulting and coaching service in Melbourne or throughout Australia, full stop. And then you see the rest of the sentence here says, a convenient answer to solve these problems. Now, if you analyse those words, it means nothing to Google. The word convenient answer to what? You want to put, for this listing, the keywords are business owners or business coaching. To provide business owners the answer to solve these problems. Solve what problems? Google doesn't know the problems, so you want to say business problems or problems business owners encounter running their local business. And even the words leverage the company to the next level. These words mean nothing as far as your business is concerned, your service and your location. And then if you go down to the next sentence, is unlocks the time you require to enjoy your life. In a way, I mean, Google might think you're a timeshare or a resort because unlocks the time and to enjoy your life. That's got nothing to do about the service and the products of Maverick Mentoring for Business. And nowhere does it mention the location, Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Brisbane, business owners, coaching, consulting, all those sort of words. So as I said, some people are very clever on the amount of words they can put about their business, make it into a sentence and leave out anything that doesn't mean a lot to Google as far as data is concerned. I've even seen businesses, instead of using the word AND, they put the symbol so they can get as many keywords into their business description as possible. And always repeat your business name. And if you as a business owner, it's important to your business listing, say your name. So once again, Google is associating your name with your business, with your service, and with your location. And then if you go on down, Google gives you the option of when did you open, fill it out, and then add photos. So you can add photos down at the bottom of the information tab, or if you go across to the left-hand side, you see halfway down is the photos tab. So we'll just quickly go into this because this is really important. It's photos and videos you can add here. So if you click on the photos tab, then you go across to the right-hand side. And the first things I want to point out to you, the barest minimum is to put a photo, your logo photo, and a cover photo. You can see here that Peter has put the Maverick Mentoring logo here because when you have a look on his Google My Business listing, next to his business name is the logo. And that looks really cool. It really stands out on page 1 of Google. His cover photo, there isn't one. You can see it's sort of blank there. It's still got the generic. It's asking you for the photo. So Google will pull across any photo it thinks about your business and put it there. Fortunately, Google has found a photo of Peter, which is sort of relevant to his business. However, the first slide I showed you was a tax consultant, and their photo was of cyclists. Because for some reason, Google associated that cyclist image, perhaps they had it on their website somewhere or their Facebook page. Google can pull it across from all sorts of things. So you provide a cover photo that you want Google to show. Once you've got those 2 photos up, then you look at the top of your photos and there's categories of photos. And basically this is Google telling you, this is the type of photos it wants to know about your business. So provide these photos. Okay, if you go across right over to the right-hand side, identity. That's the identity of your business. That's your logo, your signage, any text or imagery that identifies you as a business. So your storefront with your business name, your business cards. Take a photo of your business cards, which has got your logo and your business name, and upload it to Google My Business. Take a photo of you. If you've got signage on cars, if you have signage on letterheads, on stationery, on shop fronts, on if you're real estate and you have real estate boards, be creative of anywhere you have a logo and your business name and your location. Take a photo and upload it to Google My Business. And you can also SEO the image, which I can show you on Thursday on the one-to-one strategy. Team, if anyone has got employees, or staff or whatever like that, take photos of them, or if you haven't, take photos of yourself either in your office, at a computer, with files, doing something which makes sense about your business. I've even had a lawyer client who's taken photos of him at a desk, and behind him are books with legal names, and Google can read images now. And so it's just verifying that this is this business owner who's a lawyer in his law office with law books. So take a picture of you if you're a car mechanic in your service area, at your reception, anything like that. By customer, if you've got a dedicated regular customers, you'll probably find that they may upload photos from their phones, and if you've got a good relationship with your customers, it'd be great to ask them. At work, as I said, be very creative in how you can identify your business and you doing things, anything within your office, within your clients, out on site, with signages, with logos. And then videos. Videos are also really important. Google will show a video in preference to text and images than anything else. And the other digital platforms are exactly the same, like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to a certain extent. There's even talk that the page 1 of Google will eventually be all images and videos, and Google will pull images from your Google My Business listing across to an image carousel on page 1. So minimum 50 images at least, if not more, and consistently put in lots of videos. And we haven't even got to posts yet, because that's really important to do weekly posts, which has got an image or video and text as well. But we can talk about posts on Thursday and how often you should be doing it. and what type of keywords and content you need to supply for people who don't know about your business and want to find your type of business, and for Google, who wants to know about your business and show your listing to people who are looking for this type of business in your area. And posts can go a long way to helping Google show that. So I think we're just about on time. Okay, I just want to talk about reviews very quickly. On the left-hand side, you can see that there's reviews. Reviews don't necessarily get you in this 3-pack. Many times you're going to this 3-pack and you see that number 1 has almost got 1 review, and the next, and the one number 3 has got 20. Maybe because their website's better and their Google My Business listing is better. The reviews don't necessarily get you into this 3-pack. Those other 2 do. But the reviews, if you have got 21 reviews, you will get, out of those 3, you'll get more clicks. If you've got double or triple the reviews than your competitors and you get onto this 3-pack, you will get the click. It just needs a bit of strategy and a bit of focus to start accumulating your Google My Business reviews. And with this one, NatureWorks is one person. You can see Walter up there. He just focused for about 2 weeks. He went from 0 reviews up to 21. Got on to the 3-pack, Semken Landscaping, which is quite a large landscaping with a location in Brighton and one in the eastern suburbs. And here's Walter with his one person garden care in front of Semken, and with 21 reviews, and it's even a lot more than that now. And not only are they reviews, I think because he's here, there's a strategy to how you get these reviews and what's in the reviews for Google to put your business here. It's not just 5 stars or great work. There's a lot more about SEOing, telling Google about your business and reviews. And then I just want to quickly show also on this listing, there's that great big blue button, request a quote. You can have book, if you're a restaurant, you can have book a table, make a reservation, book an appointment, request a quote. There's all sorts of different buttons Google allows here. So if someone's searching, and they can click on this and go straight to your website and book an appointment straight away. So there we go. This is just the start of Google My Business. There is so much more, but hopefully there's enough information here to get you started, and we can continue on the one-to-one. And after this, I will send out a link for that one-to-one. I think Peter already has. And I think we've got a couple of minutes for questions before we wrap up.